Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Join us for the latest in news, views, and conversation with community leaders. The Pulse of Spokane is brought to you in part by Homes for You and CW Crates and Pallets. Now, put your finger on the Pulse of Spokane.
Well, welcome. It's Tuesday, April 16th. Hope you're having a good day. It's the day after tax days. Tax day, I should say. Well, tax days. We're taxed every day, let's face it, right? We've got a good program today. I hope you'll watch and stay tuned. Bill Benson from the Palouse Ag Drone Services is here, and he's got a new service coming up, and I found it very interesting. So we'll be talking to Bill. And then Sergeant Glenn Bartlett from the Spokane Police Department and Kristina Poffenroth from the Lutheran Community Services will be talking about Sexual Assault Month. That should be interesting as well. And then we'll round off the half hour with Becky Funk from Red Elephant Consultants. Next on the Pulse of Spokane.
Good afternoon, Spokane. Today we have some clouds moving over us with a high of 58 degrees. It will be in the 60s and very cloudy as we progress throughout the week. During nighttime, we are going to see the temperatures drop down a little to the 40s with clouds and some overnight rain on Friday. Some clouds over in Coeur d'Alene today with a high of 54 and a low of 40, and also some clouds in the valley with a high of 57 and a low of 41.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
I'm Nikki Butler, and I'm a regional manager for STCU. My lunch buddy is Nicole.
I'm Brandy Schloss. I'm a regional manager at STCU. My lunch buddy is Angelina. She's grown up with me. I've grown up with her. To see her graduate will be a lot of fun.
Brandy and I have been lunch buddies since the girls were in second grade. It's great that STCU provides me with the opportunity to be part of Reach for the Future. We are committed to the children. We're committed to our community. I'm Nikki.
I'm Brandy.
And STCU is here for good.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
Bill Benson, how are you?
I am fine as frog hair.
All right. Okay. Oh, God. This is going to be an interesting 8 or 10 minutes, isn't it?
I hope so.
Yeah. Hey, Bill. We had a conversation, I think it was just a week ago or so, and you are starting up a new business, and I found it absolutely fascinating because we all know about drones out there.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to have one, my grandson, everybody, right? And most of us, theoretically, are doing it legally and so forth because there are certain areas you're not supposed to go without getting permission from FAA and so forth. But you're taking this to a whole new level, and it's not just for fun or for video. It's for something else. What are you doing?
All right. Well, we started with the premise, there's a universal truth that the end quality or the quality of the end state of any endeavor is directly correlated to the quality of the initial information.
Okay.
Right? That's a universal truth. But let's turn that to agriculture.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is I am taking an observation platform and I am equipping it with different types of sensors. I'm putting it 120 feet in the air.
Okay.
And I am flying over a farmer's field.
Okay.
And I am bringing science to that flight. I'm collecting data.
Okay.
And I'm crunching those numbers. And
This is not for flying over the fields to kind of find out who's stealing the potatoes, though, is it?
well, I could do that, but
Yeah,
no,
but that's not the intent.
No.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're doing chemical analysis. We're using reflected
By
light.
flying? Okay.
When NASA first took a look at the atmospheres of other planets before we sent probes, what they do is they would take a picture of the reflected light off
Okay.
the atmosphere of that planet. And as we know from high school chemistry, every element absorbs, reflects, and refracts light differently.
Okay.
So you take that reflected image and you run it through a spectrograph,
Okay.
and you can tell what elements are in that
Wow.
atmosphere.
Wow.
Well, NASA did it a million miles away.
Yes.
I'm doing it from 120 feet.
Wow.
And what we're hoping to do, what the business is all about, is to give the farmer, give the agricultural community, the very best usable information they can have.
Uh-huh.
Because then they can use that, roll that into their field management system or program, and begin to, justify changes.
Okay. Like what? Give me an example of what they might do with this information.
They might, well, every farmer, when you really get down to it, every farmer wants to know one of two things.
Okay.
Is the field ready to go?
Right.
Is it in the condition I think it's going to be in at that particular moment in the growth cycle?
Right.
Or is it not?
Okay. In terms of moisture and everything else,
Moisture,
right?
chemical content,
Right.
all that stuff.
Right. Right.
And if it's not, why not? What direction do I, as a farmer, need to go to mitigate?
Okay.
And that's the information we're basically
Wow.
providing.
Okay. This makes the farmer a lot smarter and a lot more productive.
I wouldn't say it makes the farmer a lot smarter, because farmers are smart.
Yes, yes.
And they're masters of, that's what a farmer is, the master of creating that specific, targeted, perfect ecosystem.
Right.
And this gives him better information.
Okay.
And then he can start to tweak if he's using too much of a chemical, if he's not using enough.
He or she can probably tell by after someone's applied the chemicals if it's even or if they've missed an area and things like that as well, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
What a valuable resource.
well, the beautiful thing about it is, even though we've had to narrow our focus because the potentials are so huge, we're giving them this observation platform, this tool.
Yeah.
And whatever they decide is valuable to them, we're going to come up with it.
So it's not like it's a little more effective than going up, standing on the top knoll somewhere and looking out and trying to determine what things are, or even putting your hand in the soil to determine if it's moist enough and so forth, right?
Hopefully, this is an extension of that.
Okay, yeah. It just really takes it to a new level.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, where are you in this process?
Right now, I am looking for investors.
Okay.
I'm trying to raise $1.5 million.
Okay.
And we've already done phase one, which was to get the licenses and create the business and fly the initial proof of concept missions, which we've done. The farmers that I've talked to are very enthusiastic.
I was
about
going
the
to ask you, what are
possibilities.
they saying? When you presented this information, what are they saying to you?
They're saying every farmer.
How soon
I've
can
talked-
you start?
Basically, come to me, and show me the aircraft in the back of your pickup truck, and then let's go get into trouble.
Yeah, okay.
And in the good type of trouble. But
Yeah.
I've already flown the proof of concept missions. They're true believers, but
Okay.
farmers are show me type
Yes,
guys.
yes.
So as soon as I
Well,
get
they
the
are
aircraft,
literally hands-on people.
yeah,
let's face it.
absolutely,
Right.
yeah, and they're like, as soon as you have it,
Yeah.
let's go do something.
Wow.
So I'm looking to get those funds, purchase the actual big equipment,
Right.
support vehicles. I want to employ about 14 people.
Wow.
So
So this isn't one drone plane, it's several, isn't it?
I'm actually going to start with 3 flight teams.
Oh, okay.
And,
there will be that much business?
Yes.
Okay.
There will.
okay. I mean, obviously you've checked it out and you know our area and so forth. Because you live in?
I live in Rockford.
Okay.
These are my friends and neighbors
Yeah.
that I'm helping out, and I've heard the stories, I've heard the concerns,
Yeah.
and I recognize the need to have a better tool to get that information that the agricultural community needs.
So the plan for this year, 2019, the next few months, is to gather investors to be a part of this, and then launch it, what, the end of the year or the beginning of next year?
Well, I'll tell you, as soon as I have the funds to purchase at least the aircraft,
Okay.
then I will do that, and we'll be up and running.
Okay.
And we'll grow as we can.
Okay. All right. How can people get in touch with you? Because especially farmers and others out there watching want to learn more, want to be probably on a mailing list and everything else. How did they reach you?
Okay, my email is padsllc
Okay.
.actual
Okay.
@gmail.com,
Okay.
or phone number is 509 216-0915, because I call it myself all the time.
Yeah.
We're sort of in a communication black hole, so a text is best for
sometimes,
initial.
yeah, I hear you.
That's the best for the initial contact, and then I'll get on a landline and return calls. I'm on Facebook
Okay.
at Palouse Ag Drone Services LLC.
Okay.
Or you can come down and stand in front of Rockford City Hall and yell my name real loud.
Oh.
Probably can hear you.
Why would that be?
Oh, well, first of all, there's only 497 of it. No, somebody had a baby. 498 people in the town. It's pretty small, and I'm there at least once every 2 weeks because I'm on the city council.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So go into City Hall and ask where Bill is.
They know where to find you. Okay.
They know where to find
They
me.
have a tracking device on you?
No, I think
Yeah.
no, not anymore.
Not yet. Not yet.
They
Okay.
left the keys within reach. I was able to get out.
Okay. Well, Bill, this is interesting. Let's keep having you back as you go through this process, because I think there's so much. Are they doing this in other places around the country?
They're doing it on actually, the beauty of this is proven technology they're using around the world.
Yes.
They're using Europe, Malaysia,
But are they doing
Australia.
the ag stuff very much other places?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They're
so
doing
get
that.
with it, Inland
Yeah,
Northwest, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And you're going to be the one to do it.
Drag them kicking and screaming into the 21st century. We're only 19 years too late.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about age and all that. Okay, Bill? Please.
I won't if you will.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about the Sexual Assault Month this month in April, right after this.
This is Bloomsday in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Bloomsday.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate, but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Bloomsday wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Welcome back to the Pulse of Spokane. Ken Adams here, and I'm kind of laughing a little bit because I introduced this as Sexual Assault Month. It's not. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Let's get this right. And they're both grinning at me like, yeah, Kent, do you realize how far off base you were there? Happy to have on our left here of the screen is Sergeant Glenn Bartlett from the Spokane Police Department and Kristina Poffenroth, who is with Lutheran Community Services. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All these names and titles, it's just me. This is an important topic. Both of you deal with it in a slightly different way and so forth. Why don't we start with you from the police side of things and how you deal with this and what are some of the issues out there that we can take with us to really be aware of what's going on?
Well, thanks, Kent. And I'm the supervisor of our special unit, victims unit for the Spokane Police Department.
Ah, okay.
I supervise the detectives that go out day to day and investigate these crimes.
Oh, boy.
One of the things that we really want to push forward here is to increase awareness to make sure we reduce some of those barriers to reporting.
Okay.
Whether it's oftentimes
there's still that stigma, isn't there? To report, yes.
There is, and what we want is we want to get that information, get a thorough and complete investigation as quickly as we can.
Okay.
And part of that is the reporting component, where people feel safe and comfortable enough to come in and to relay what happened to the incident. We can collect items of evidence if we need to.
Right.
And we can get that initial investigation started.
Right. What is some of the information that they need to help prevent some of this? Either one of you.
Go ahead.
I think some of the ways that we try to break down barriers in reporting are by making sure people know they have a right to have an advocate with them while they report. So I am a victim advocate. That's my role. So that would be, we're basically like
professional. That really
professional.
helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're like professional support people, essentially.
So will you go in when someone is coming in to report and that sort of thing? Is that where you start?
Yeah, if they would like to have an advocate there, often the first time we meet a survivor of sexual assault is at the hospital while they're getting evidence collected. Sometimes when people are in that situation, they go to the hospital before they talk to law enforcement, because that's just kind of what makes sense.
So do you show up there, or do
Yeah.
folks like you show up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an MOU with all of the 5 area emergency rooms, so they give us a call. We also have a 24-hour sexual assault crisis line that people can contact us through, and now we can actually receive text messages on that line too.
Well, welcome to the 21st century, right? Yeah, everything is text or whatever these days. What someone comes in, they don't require or ask for someone to be there like you, Kristina, and so forth. What process do you go through to get information that you need to help you with that case?
I think first and foremost, we have to understand that this is a very traumatic event.
Okay, good point.
Our detectives oftentimes are asking very, very difficult questions. That
very
are crucial.
personal question, yes.
Very, very personal, and it is. It's a very personal crime.
Right.
We want to make sure that we get the accurate information, and should a survivor decide that they don't want to follow through and go get into the system, I don't want to just leave them, or my detectives don't want to just leave them without a support system. And that's where we rely heavily on our community partners,
right.
such as Lutheran Community Services, for that follow-up.
Okay.
Not oftentimes, but that does happen. And we just want to make sure it's a complete response, not just one piece, because we've got all these
Because
different
there's
pieces.
more than just the legal issues that need to be dealt with, and they can last a lifetime, actually, can't they? Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you walk in, I'm just curious, when you walk into a hospital, I'm going to guess that 95% of these are women who are assaulted, but not always. What goes through your mind? How do you gear up for that? Because you're really talking very private and intimate things with somebody who's been traumatized. How does that affect you as a counselor, as an advocate?
We definitely have a lot of self-care practices within our office. Like, that's something that's very stressed. For every advocate, it's different. It's just kind of like what helps them feel better. Personally, I do things like I have like kind of a pump up playlist I listen to on the way there or something, so I can just kind of like get in the zone and everything. And then I, make sure I take time to debrief afterwards. Like, so if it's a call in the middle of the night or something that, then I take time. Once I get home, I don't just go straight back to bed. I take that time to kind of calm down and everything, and make sure those things aren't staying with me.
Yeah. I can only imagine that the trauma that you have to go through with that person. It's Sexual Assault a month, preventative month. What are some of the things that folks watching right now can learn and teach their kids? And I think, we have kids that are in their 20s. It doesn't mean they're little kids. But what are some of those things that people can learn as they watch this program right now? Either one of you.
The things that we try to stress a lot, actually, for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, the National Sexual Violence Resource Center usually has a theme.
Okay.
And this year the theme is I Ask, which means I ask for consent. So teaching those lessons about consent and starting young with those lessons is one of the biggest ways. Making sure people know that that's a conversation they can start having with their children early, and they can make it age appropriate. It can be about make sure your friend has a consent before you give them a hug, things like that, and then kind of working the message up as they grow older.
Yeah, it's tough today, and it's getting a little more critical today in terms of people looking at the Me Too and so forth, of what you can and can't do and so forth. What would be the one thing from your standpoint?
And this is just one area of concern that I have is some of our dating websites or apps that they have now.
Okay, I hadn't even thought about that.
Is make sure you're meeting in a public place and that you are safe and put those safeguards. We want to trust people.
Yeah.
But I also want to have them in a safe environment.
And you can't always believe everything you see on Facebook or dating sites, right? Yeah, well, you both, yes. Yeah. Shaking your heads, yes. And we want to, though. We want to believe that people are good and so forth. I mean, that's just naturally, I think, who most of us are, and trusting out there. So in a public place like what? A mall?
Meet for coffee, a restaurant, something that is open to the public. Get to know that person in person, not just their profile.
Yes.
And before you get into an area where you may be alone with someone.
Okay. What else do people need to know? This is Awareness Month. Let's continue to make them aware. What else should we be telling them?
Just that they have a right to have an advocate and that these services are available in Spokane. They are free and confidential.
Okay.
So that means that, they can run things by us before they report if they're not sure if they want to.
That's probably a good idea in some ways,
talk them through
isn't it?
that process and let them know what that looks like. We can also help with things like civil protection orders, with stuff on college campuses like student conduct hearings and Title IX investigations. That they can give us a call at any time on our crisis line, which is 509-624-7273.
All right. I've got to ask this question. What got you into this line of work?
It's actually kind of a really roundabout way. I studied creative writing in college.
That's a easy transfer from creative writing to
And after I moved back to Spokane after I graduated, I was very involved in the Spokane Poetry Slam.
Okay.
And in 2014, we did a writing workshop at Lutheran Community Services with survivors.
Okay.
And then that's kind of how I found out about the program. And then a few years later, I started volunteering, and then now I'm here.
I was hoping you're going to be able to connect that. That's kind of a jump.
Yeah.
All right. You've been on the force for how many years?
Nearly 25 years.
Nearly 20. What did you start at 14?
No.
Okay. Why become a cop?
I believe it's an honorable profession.
Okay.
And even taking it one step further, I believe that investigating these types of crimes are something that oftentimes, for lack of better words, we just didn't get it right all the time.
Yeah.
And so if I can impart some of the things and mistakes I've made and use those for learning tools for our younger officers, that when they go to these types of calls, we want to start
what to say, what not to say.
Right,
yes.
right. And, to understand that this is a very traumatic experience.
Yes.
And have that empathy and go make sure that that we're doing the best that we can, given a horrible situation.
Yeah, well, we are human beings. We're not perfect, but if we can continue to improve on our skills and impart our skills and so forth. Now, you mentioned there are other organizations in addition to Lutheran Community Services that also provide support too, right?
There's a number of private counselors in our area that provide services.
Okay.
I rely heavily on Lutheran Community Services because I know what the results are.
Okay.
And I've seen them take
I get it. I absolutely get that.
That's for me. Not to say there's not others out there.
Right. But you go to the team that's been there for you and helps you, right? So the phone number again, and that's That's to Lutheran, or is that to the system in terms of?
This is for the 24-hour sexual assault crisis line.
Okay, I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, so it is 509-624-7273. It's open 24 hours, and it's open for texting during business hours.
Okay, great. Well, I hope I've learned something new, and at my age, you don't have to laugh quite so fast, but I continue to learn, and I think we all do. I love your attitude of yes, we didn't always do it right, but we continue to improve. My guess is that partners like Lutheran Community Services is a good part of that learning process and so forth. So good. Well, thank you for what both of you do to help folks in this community. It's important. So. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more time on the phone number.
509-624-7273.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
The economy is getting stronger. Banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Welcome to a new kind of talk show, Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversations that include respect for opinions, facts, and diversity.
Spokane Talks, Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Fox 28.
O'Brien Logistics would like to invite you to try our local and regional transportation services. With Sprinter vans, lift gates, hot shot flatbeds, and expedited services, our people are ready to step in and help with your transportation needs. Our services are 24/7, 365, and we are trained and prepared to handle air cargo and Canadian shipments. Give us a call at 208-305-2311 or visit our website at o'brienlogistics.net. That's OBRIEN logistics.net.
Well, welcome back to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here. It's the 16th of April, day after tax day. Okay, we all sent the forms in, one form or another by now.
That's right.
Yeah, some of us sent in extensions.
Well, some of us had to fill out all of these new schedules.
Oh, gosh.
The forms
That's why
have
some of us
changed.
sent extensions.
Right.
Becky Funk, how are you?
I am doing extremely well today. Thank you, Karen.
Good. You live and work and kind of work out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I hear that's a little city on the east side of our border here. Is that where that is?
Yeah. No, it's kind of. You may have heard of our lake. People have heard about
yes,
it.
I have heard of that. And
yeah.
There's a resort over there, and planes that fly in, and everything else. And
no, it's a beautiful community to live in.
It really has grown up. I think I moved into Spokane area 42 years ago, and not only has Spokane changed over the years, but Coeur d'Alene has just really grown up and has choices for restaurants and places to stay.
It is an amazing resort town. I mean, and it's and every once in a while we pinch ourselves thinking, "Wow, we get to live here."
Yeah, I know. Isn't it fun to send pictures to people like in Los Angeles where I grew up and stuff like that? This is where I live.
Yeah, and I love because I grew up in Texas, and so my husband and I love going to the lake and kayaking and that sort of thing. And we'll show them pictures of the water, and you can actually see through it. And there's no water moccasins, so that makes us pretty happy.
Oh, that would be thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Becky, what is it that you do?
So my business, Red Elephant Campaigns and Marketing, we try to be a support for candidates.
Okay.
And, and work within their budget. So I try to help them get the best bang for their buck on, supplies, social media management, websites, that sort of thing. But I can also offer consultation services and help them with their messaging, give them tips on fundraising and that sort of thing.
Yeah, today it's it's I want to run for office, whatever it is, and it's a little more sophisticated than it was a decade or two or three ago, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Yeah, back
the budgets have grown too.
Yeah, back in my younger days.
Let's not go there for either of us, okay? Although you're much younger, but still.
Anyway, so back in the 80s, when I would be working on campaigns as a volunteer intern or whatever.
Right.
It was, we were licking and sticking. I mean, we were.
Yep.
We didn't have all of the resources available now, and so it was much more tedious in that respect.
Yes.
But today, we have the social media. Yep. We have, people need websites and those sorts of things, and so they need someone that can help them process the data that comes in. Look at previous elections, check out the voting list, try to figure out, okay, who do I need to reach?
Right.
But, if someone comes to me in our first meeting, the first thing we're going to talk about is, why are you running?
Good.
And are you really qualified to run for the office that you're seeking? Because that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have the right policies, the right beliefs, but if you're not qualified, if you don't have the experience in your life that's necessary,
how do you know if you're qualified, though?
Well,
what questions will you ask somebody?
So first of all, I'm going to ask them, what is your network? Who do you network with?
Right.
What jobs have you had? How active have you been in your community?
Yes. Okay.
And so do you actually have a network that you can rely on to help you?
Because you got to have friends and family.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that also runs into the electability factor.
Okay.
If you're just running because I've just always wanted to run for office,
right,
and you don't really have a plan, you don't really have a message. Maybe you need to enter from a different perspective.
Right.
Maybe you need to help somebody else on their campaign.
I was going to say,
see how that is.
That's a great experience, though, because I've done that in the past and so forth, and it really is.
And you learn so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so those are just some of the little things that some of the basics that I do when I'm talking.
I've got to ask the question, when you ask, why do you want to run? What are some of the crazy answers you've gotten?
Oh my gosh! So
I bet you have gotten a couple.
I've gotten a few crazy answers. You know what? More often than not, they're like, because I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people run because they see a need.
Kind of the Ted Kennedy moment.
Exactly. Yeah, that
Ted
Kennedy.
Why.
Yeah. That's kind of the death knell for his presidential aspirations there. But I think most people run because they do care about their community, and they do want to serve. Now, you do get some people that are coming at it from a very egotistical point of view.
Oh.
And it's like, well, I've done everything else, so I need to run for office. Check one more thing off on my bucket list.
Right.
And so for me.
So what do you say to that person who's just doing it because they've done everything else, and you suspect that may not be a good enough reason, and they may not otherwise qualify? Do you have an honest sit down with them?
I'm very honest.
Yeah,
I have actually talked people out of running for office before, or if they continue, it's like, you can do this, but you're going to have to find somebody else.
Yeah. And I respect that, because it would be too easy to lead somebody on.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not, until you're in a larger area.
Right.
And on the federal level, this isn't a business where you're making a lot of money. You have to have a certain amount of love for the process.
Right.
And although I come at things from a more conservative point of view, I have so much respect for people that are willing to throw their hat in the ring.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
absolutely. Even if we disagree with them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Way
and
to,
we can
to
always,
stand up and try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and we can always find we can always find common ground. But I want people. I want good government, and I want to help qualified, electable candidates get into office. But I'm willing to. I'm very open to talking to someone and giving them an hour of my time, and let's just talk about this and what you want to do.
Most of your campaign has been in North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene area.
That's right. I just this past year. after our Republican primary, I spent some time in New Mexico managing a congressional race there.
Oh, boy.
And yeah, that was exciting.
Yeah, exciting, with quotes around it.
Yeah. Well, and it was one of those situations where I learned so much. It was, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times.
Yeah.
And it was really, really hard work. It was, my days were just stressful and long. A typical day there towards the last month was 18 to 20 hours.
Oh, Lord.
And, and I'm actually getting kind of old to pull.
I was going to say,
off.
not for me anymore.
So,
not for me. I used to do that, but
But I learned so much about, about reaching out, building bridges, finding that common ground, because I think probably 80% of us that find ourselves in the middle.
Yeah.
I think we probably agree on 80% or better.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And I think that too often we allow the shrill voices
on
the
either
extremes
side. On either side,
to drown us out. Yeah. And so that was a lesson that I took from that.
How can people get in touch with you?
They can call me, and my number is 208-964-0410.
Okay.
They can email me. It's Becky at redelephantcampaigns.com.
Okay.
And my website is just redelephantcampaigns.com.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, Kent.
Thanks for watching today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Pulse of Spokane.
The Pulse of Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksMedia.com, which is solely responsible for its content. The Pulse of Spokane is brought to you in part by Homes for You and CW Crates and Pallets. Ask Kent a question, recommend a guest, or hear this program again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com.